Here you go, Dragon Ball fans. You're finally gonna get a win. And, well, another loss too, but you're gonna get a win. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is The Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my Death Battle prediction videos. And next time on Death Battle, for the Season 9 finale, we have Vegito from Dragon Ball versus Gogeta from Dragon Ball. So of course there's quite a bit to unpack here before I start talking about this fight. First of all, I was not expecting this episode to happen whatsoever, season finale or otherwise. But at this point, I know to expect the unexpected when it comes to season finales. Like, I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be able to predict what the season finale was going to be, but even this one really caught me off guard. Not only is this fight's concept really different from what Death Battle normally does, but this is also the third and fourth time that we've had a Dragon Ball character on this show, let alone kind of bringing Vegeta back twice. In general, Death Battle's really used a lot of anime this season, and they're definitely keeping up the trend of using anime in the season finale, which they've done for a few years now, but I'm by no means disappointed, or I'm not going to argue about this fight's announcement. You know, at this point, I know it's just best to take what you can get and roll with it, and honestly, if this fight ends up being a step up from the already enjoyable Gogeta versus Vegito DBX, then I think I'm going to have a good time. So yeah, I'm just gonna roll with this. So obviously this fight really comes down to what sets these fusions apart and what differences would help each one over the other, and then we average it all out and see which one would be more likely to succeed in their murder. So going over some of the main obvious ones, aside from, you know, how they fuse and what they look like, Vegito is typically more cocky in battle, taking after Vegeta's traits more so than Gogeta, who is more analytical and serious while in battle. Vegito is also, he was always in canonical material to my knowledge, whereas Gogeta was mainly in GT and only semi-recently moved to canon material. They both have different specific higher forms. Like, both of them can go Super Saiyan Blue, but you have Vegito, who has the Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken and the Super Saiyan Blue barrier, and then Gogeta has the perfected Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Blue evolved, so there are some minor differences. And of course, both of them have a lot of different techniques, but a lot of them still cover similar areas. You know, there's a lot of key techniques, a lot of other kinds of techniques, way too many for me to list right now. I don't know if Death Battle is going to be including GT content for Gogeta. You know, they have used non-canon material before, mostly for supporting evidence, but they haven't really been using GT. They've kind of made a big point of staying away from GT for a lot of characters, although maybe Gogeta is a special case in their eyes, but still, there was no Super Saiyan God or anything in GT, so in terms of power, it might not mean that much, but still, there may be some things that we need to keep in mind. Now, another difference between the fusions is how long they last, but honestly, I'm not planning on looking into that too deep, partially because the comparison kind of confuses me. Like, I know the Vegito form is only supposed to last an hour, typically, and the Gogeta form supposedly only lasted 30 minutes, but then later Death Battle said that the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was what lasted 30 minutes, and that Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta was able to fight against Broly for hours, so I'm not really sure how all of this adds up. I'm not sure how it's changed over time, but regardless of all of that, Death Battle is going to be looking at both of these characters at their best. If they truly determine that one character is more powerful than the other, or one character is more likely to win, I really don't see them saying that that character would always defuse or, you know, run out of time before they would be able to finish the other character off. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just me. One thing I could see Death Battle doing is saying that one character could defuse prematurely based on, you know, stuff like exerting themselves too much or other things that have popped up in the show or the manga before. And that's definitely something that Vegito has to worry about. During his fight with Fuse Zamasu, Vegito pushed himself so hard and got so powerful that he actually defused sooner than expected, lasting only 40 minutes instead of the usual hour. And as far as we've seen, Gogeta hasn't really shown to be susceptible to this, fighting at full power, supposedly full power, continuously without being at risk of losing the fusion. However, if we push that to the side and we just try to figure out, okay, well, which fusion is stronger? How do we know which one is stronger regardless? Well, if you want to figure that out, we kind of have to look at all the semi-conflicting information. Like, if we're just trying to look at statements and what's seen as common knowledge within the Dragon Ball universe and as seen by fans, then Vegito should theoretically be the stronger character and have a stronger energy supply, because the Potara Earrings fusion method has been stated to be more effective than the Metamoran fusion dance, and is said to create a more perfect fusion, or a perfect fusion, unlike the dance. And that's partially because the dance kind of requires both participants to be like at equal power levels, stuff like that. But if we push that to the side and we try to say, okay, well, let's just look at feats regardless, well, then they're kind of hard to quantify because it's Dragon Ball. You know, we have Vegito, who again fought Fuse Zamasu, which caused him to defuse, kind of implying that that's the strongest fight or the most intense fight he's ever been in, if that required him to do that through exerting too much energy. And then we have Gogeta, who fought Broly, you know, that extended battle with Broly, where he won after they both shattered reality. We haven't directly seen Vegito do that, like shatter reality or anything like that, but we do know that there are characters in the Dragon Ball world who are stronger than Broly and Gogeta, and they didn't have to shatter reality to prove that. So that might not necessarily mean everything. So this is one of those fights where Death Battle could take it in a lot of different directions, and we really don't know what they're going to do until they do it. They could say that some feats are greater than others, they can interpret it that way, or vice versa, and I'm not going to pretend like I can easily quantify their feats or potential, especially since I think it's kind of impossible to quantify any real caps as far as numbers go, just based on the scenarios of their fights, and we know that Death Battle doesn't always do what a lot of people agree with, especially when it comes to Dragon Ball. So which character has more powerful showcases, or which one has more powerful showcases in the eyes of Death Battle? I don't know. Frankly, I'm really not the person to ask. But if I'm just trying to stick with what I know and talk about, you know, just going back to the cores of the fusions, then Vegito should be the stronger character and should have the stronger energy reserves, just because it's stated to be a more perfect, more powerful blend of Goku and Vegeta. And honestly, I think the fact that Vegito can exert so much energy that he defuses actually enforces this idea, weirdly enough. Because, you know, again, the fusion is supposed to be perfect. I find it hard to believe that the defusion is a result of a flaw in the fusion. I've always seen it more as Vegito is so powerful that it happens, and not because the fusion is stated to be like, oh, well, no, if you go to this strong, then you'll defuse. I always just saw it as, oh, he has too much power within him. And despite, you know, Gogeta arguably being a less perfect fusion, you know, he has not pushed himself to the point of defusing under that interpretation. Again, though, that's just one interpretation that Death Battle may or may not buy into themselves. If they come to the conclusion that Gogeta has indeed pulled off greater feats or has greater potential, then they'll probably just go with him regardless. But like I said, that exact same thing applies to Vegito, and I don't know how easy it is to predict which way Death Battle would lean from a feats standpoint. I know that I certainly wouldn't be able to do so. I do know, though, that Death Battle sometimes likes to simplify the argument if they analyze the characters as near equals, which these two obviously are, and they like to go with statements when they feel it's necessary or if they feel it makes a debate easier to understand, such as them using Dragon Ball multipliers for transformations, even if we haven't physically seen that level of destruction in the manga or anime. So I could see them leaning one way or the other based off feats alone, but if they're having a hard time doing so, then I feel like by definition, Vegito is the most logical way to reason it out. If he comes from an outright more powerful fusion method, and if he can release so much energy that it forces him to defuse unlike Gogeta, then I feel like he could use all of that power to finish Gogeta off before it's too late for him, like before he defuses. If they find out that Gogeta really has feats that are that much better, then, you know, GG, but otherwise, I think there is a case to be made for Vegito pulling this off. But anyway, guys, that is my prediction. I really hope you enjoyed it. Of course, there is still a lot I need to learn about these characters in terms of specifics, and I really want to hear who you guys think would win and why. So please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, comment your comments down below, subscribe if you could too, that would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed season 9 as much as I have, because honestly, it's become one of my favorite seasons, if not my favorite. I'll have to think about that a little bit. But yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.